miscellaneous mesh commands. Alright, so the miscellaneous mesh commands are the ones that I want to cover but not cover, just the fact that you might try to use them and you never see if they yield anything good. It's for a reason. So let's take this for example. Oftentimes I yield a triangle, okay, and I want to get rid of the triangle. Well, sometimes if a new user gets lazy and can't figure out how to take the triangle out without technically taking out the triangle, fixing the topology on the object, they'll rely on something like this, quadrillate, which, if you look at it, it yielded quads, but it also yielded triangles along with fixing the quad. Okay, so now I have a new triangle on this side that just yielded because of that command. So that's one of those things. It's a good command in the fact that it doesn't work, but let's take this for example. We can triangulate, then we can quadrillate. It worked. Isn't that cool? So if I take all these and quadrillate them, notice it does not work. So it's an unreliable thing, but it's still, if you have even amounts of triangles all across the mesh, if I take all these faces and then triangulate them, and I use that command to triangulate them, when I go back into faces and highlight them to quadrillate them, this is what's going to start happening. So when you triangulate and quadrillate, you have to do it all at the same time, all in the same order, or it's going to yield some terrible results. So I'm going to go all the way back to before I triangulated those, and now I'll triangulate the entire model. Okay, I let Maya triangulate it, so now Maya will be able to figure out its own geometry to untriangulate it. Keep in mind, if it's a third-party program that triangulates something, just by doing this and going into quadrillate, it will never figure it out. Okay, so that's triangulate and quadrillate. I'll reduce. That's a good one. So let's say I have all these faces and I want to reduce this down, and I don't have the ability to just go in here to the channel box. Notice I don't have an input for the ability to lower this down. Well, if I go to reduce, let's go to square box, and it'll give me some of this, reduced by 50%. Keep quads is 1, meaning active. If I hit reduce, this is what it'll do. So, the reduce feature does not look at dividing it down. So if I have a 6, if I have a 6, it doesn't drop it down to a 4. And a 4, a 2, and a 2, and a 1. It doesn't know how to do that. It just says, let's reduce it any way we can. Okay. Now, here, anything else? Oh, average vertice. Actually, I use that all the time. So, in average vertice, I'll use this scenario here. Okay, so what I want to do here is create a cap for this that has a little bit less harshness to it. I want it just to round off a little bit. If I go to Mesh, Average Vertice, it will do that for me. If I hit G on the keyboard, it will keep doing that for me until I can yield something like this, which is a great way to make spikes. And it keeps it all quads. So I can go in here, insert an edge loop here, hit 3 on the keyboard. I got this nice rounded spike. Okay, average vertice, very amazing thing. I love using that. The smooth command is just that. I've been using that throughout the entire series as I go along. It's the ability to take it and subdivide it to the next level. What I did not show you about it is if you go into its history. So here's smooth face, divisions 0. You can actually bump it down as long as you have the history on it. Now, if you ever go edit delete by type history, you won't have the ability to do that because you can't go down a step using something like reduce, which would be very handy to have. See, it's starting to reduce, but all this weirdness is going on, and here's a weird triangle over here. There we go. So that is the final for the miscellaneous mesh commands, except for mirror cut and mirror geometry, which I want to handle in another video altogether because there's a lot of things you should know about those two commands.